Good morning, students. Today you have an interesting class that is on The Patriot, a beautiful poem written by Robert Browning. So keep away all other books. Take your treasure trove. Uh, Turn to page 32. Hope all of you are ready with. Shall we begin? Yes. So we have the poem The Patriot written by Robert Browning. And Robert Browning is a Victorian poet, okay, a famous poet of the Victorian age. And then the theme of the poem is all about a political leader who was once upon a time did everything for his people, and for a single cause he was punished. The people turned against. Once full of glory and adulation, now has turned against him. And so the difference that the patriot, the leader, finds in the in his own people, the fickle mindedness of the people, has been beautifully portrayed by Robert Browning. Okay. Now, this is very universal fact. Okay, why? Because these things like rise and fall of a leader is a universal fact. Now, looking into the history is replete with examples of such hideous characters, okay, rising to a great heights and then falling suddenly from grace, success, and then fall to death. We have an example of a well-known figure. For example, we have Hitler. Once upon a time, he was the apple of the eye of Germans. But now, a figure no one even wants to remember or talk about. Same way we have Mussolini, and then Lenin, and so on, many others. Okay, this phenomenon of instant adulation of a person and their quick condemnation has been there in the human society in all ages. And in this poem, The Patriot, Robert Browning narrates the fate of one such victim of violent swing of public mood. Okay, how the people react to their leader who had been once upon a time the apple of their eye. It's a lament that should cause some soul searching in minds of present day societies, opinion makers. So if you look around, you see opinion makers are more in the present society. The Patriot is Robert Browning's one of the famous dramatic monologue. Now, what is monologue? Monologue means the poet uses a single speaker. He has many other poems. One of the very famous poem of his is that My Last Duchess. You will come across in your later days. Okay, My Last Duchess is another beautiful dramatic monologue written by Robert Browning. Now, here Browning presents a patriot to talk about the change of his fortune within a single year. As the poem begins, the speaker recalls his memories of this very day, just 1 year ago. Even he says that he was welcomed victoriously by his countrymen. If you read the first line, okay, the line goes like this, children. It was roses, roses all the way, with myrtle mixed in my path like mad. The house roofs seemed to heave and sway. The church spires flamed, such flags they had 1 year ago on this very day. So the poem begins. The speaker recalls his memories of this very day. He says, this very day, just 1 year ago. Even he says that he was welcomed victoriously by his people. The citizens of his country decorated the path with roses, roses all the way. Roses, roses all the way. Roses, then with myrtle mixed in path like mat, roses and myrtles to welcome him. They had decorated the path with the roses and myrtles. Now, what is this myrtle, children? It is a sweet smelling white flower. Okay, myrtle is a sweet smelling white and pink flower, and these were thrown on the path to welcome, to give a grand reception to the patriot. Now, see, children, what does a rose symbolize? Roses symbolize honor, respect, and passion. Okay, and the myrtle is also a symbol of love, purity, generosity, and innocence. And these two symbolic things, roses and myrtle, are decorated on the path. What do you mean by path? Path is another symbolically used for political career. Okay, so path is, it symbolizes political career. So on the path they are decorated with the roses and myrtle, giving respect, honor, love. Okay, so these are, it is very symbolically used by the poet. The house roof seemed to heave and sway. See, very contrasting imagery. House roof seemed heave and sway. Can you think of the roofs heave and sway? Okay, swaying. It all shows that it was heavy and swaying in motion, which creates a kind of it shows that overcrowded. Okay, to show that how crowded people were on the house roofs. Okay, and what does it say? In fact, they crowded on the roofs of the house to see the speaker, at least for once. And also the church spires flamed such flags they had a year ago. What is the spires? Church spires means the tower, okay? Church tower, which were decorated with the flags. And the spire is also symbol of strength and hopeful justice, okay? So even on the churches, they're decorated with the church towers were decorated with the flags. And then the patriot walks down the street as his citizens jostle with one another to pour their adulation on him, to express their respect, honor to their leader. And his service to his countrymen is hailed with much joy and glory. And then national flags were also tied on the church spires. And the country is obliged to their hero for his service. The whole town is charged with the joy of the happiness expressing to the great man's splendid service to the nation. And he walks triumphantly among the crowd, happily acknowledging their praise. And it happened when? Just 1 year ago. This is the memory. Okay, the patriot is remembering. He recalls with lots of love what had happened just 1 year ago on the very same day. Now coming to the second stanza, we have the speaker continues that even that day the air was filled with the cheerful sounds of bells. Moreover, he describes the thousands of people crowded against the old walls of the houses. They even cheered and cried out for their hero, that is the speaker. Okay, so the poet remembers that he had even promised them to bring the sun for them. Okay, the poet metaphorically uses the sun to denote that the speaker was even ready to do any inseparable deed for his countrymen. So look at the lines here, children. The air broke into a mist with bells. The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. Had I said, good folk, mere noise repels, but give me your sun from yonder skies. They had answered, and afterward, what else? See the way it has been constructed. The air, even the air was charged with the sound of the bells. Now, what is bell symbolic of? Okay, bell is symbolic of the joy. Actually, the bell is rung in the Christian churches. You must have heard ringing of the bell. The bell here refers to church bells, especially in Europe and other countries where the Christianity it was considered as the major religion. It was customary to ring church bells on important occasions. Similarly, the church bells are rung to welcome any important persons, the hero, into the city. So here the church bells were ringing for a grand reception to their leader. The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. Very exaggerated way he is putting the lines, isn't it? The old walls rocked with the crowd and cries. So the city was full with the people, and there they could hear the outcry of the people. And then he is telling the heroes, his strength was gripped with the imagination of the citizens. They are standing on the top on some old buildings to catch his view. Others happened just a year ago, and it happened, all these things happened a year ago. The public virtually fawned over him. They were ready to give him just anything he wanted. Even they were ready to catch the sun, the life giving sun. Even that wouldn't have been a big thing to ask for. If he had asked for something more after getting the sun, the people would have given him. So much they adored him and felt grateful to him for his service to the nation. Uh, had I asked, good folk, mere noise repels, but give me your son. Give me all what you have, the son, the life giver. Okay, even that they would have given and asked him. And after, what else? What more do you need? They would ask him, what else more do you need? Yes, son is symbolic of beyond access, unreachable. Even the unreachable could be given to the patriot. That great was their adulation towards the patriot. Now, in the third stanza, we have what is that? The speaker admits that he was fool enough to try to achieve beyond his limit. Alack, it was I who leaped at the sun. I who leaped at the sun. I went beyond all my limits to do good for my people. In fact, the praises of the countrymen made him too confident to become over ambitious. So he became so over ambitious that he did all that he could for his people. Alak is an expression that he regrets in an exclamation. It is an exclamation where he expressed his regret for doing so much for his people. That he leaped at the sun. He even could go to the sun for the sake of his people. To give it, my people, my loving friends to keep. Now here, leaped at the sun. You must have heard about what is that? Leaping at the sun is it is a mythological reference, children. It is referring to Icarius, son of Daedalus, who dared to fly too near to the sun. And what happened? His waxed wings melted, and Icarius plunged into his death in the sea. So here also he could take any risk. Even at the cost of his own life, he would do anything for his people. To give it, my loving friends to keep. For the sake of my friends, for my countrymen, I could do anything. Because he became over ambitious with all the praises that he received from his citizens. Similarly, just like Icarius, the speaker is going to face his downfall which he now realizes after a year. So you can compare the mythological fact of Icarus, how he lost his life. Okay, so the same way here the Patriot is also getting ready for his gallops. Not man could do, have I left done. Nothing I left done what a man can do. I did all what is possible for a man to do for my people. And you see my harvest. Here, my harvest. Harvest is used here for the reward. What is the reward? What was the result of all his doing? Harvest what I reap. What do you reap? If you, whatever you sow, you reap. It is it, isn't it? What you sow, you reap. Now, all what he has done for his people, this is the reward given by his countrymen. This very day, now a year is run. He is repeating the same, saying, the very day it had happened 1 year ago, with all adulation, they gave me a grand reception, and today they are taking me to the gallop, to my final day. So, in this part, the speaker, the hero of the plot, reflects upon what he did for the country. And the speaker takes us to the great mythology to describe how Icarus and his genius Daedalus, who are broken free from their prison cell, built a tower by a very ingenious innovation. They have succeeded to make a pair of wings, each by gluing bird feathers with wax, and then it enabled them to fly away from the prison tower. But Icarus gets carried away by his success and flies higher and higher until he reaches the dangerous vicinity of the sun. The wax melts in the heat and Icarus falls to death. All his friends have died earlier. Okay. Now, by citing this example, the speaker alludes to his own excess. He overdid his role as the country's benefactor and achieved something that was not achievable. This excessive zeal proved to be his undoing. He uses the term harvest and reap. That is referring to the missteps he took to bring glory to his country. Now he laments his failings and accepts the consequence as something that is inevitable. He is reconciled to the darkness that lies ahead of him. Now a kind of reconciliation comes to him. He recalls the past, and now he knows there is no use of thinking of the past, but he has to endure whatever is ahead of him. Here I stop, children. Now we have 3 more stanzas. We go with it tomorrow. And for now, read the poem, the first, second, and third stanza. Try to understand, analyze the poem. So all the best.